What you're about to hear is very detrimental to the R. Kelly trial. I myself, throughout this whole trial, have wondered what's up with the transcripts. How come only certain people get them? Let's find our answers now.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to give the page a few more minutes. I announced it, the live was going to happen at 11 a.m. today, and that should give people ample time to prepare, to tune in, and to listen to what I'm about to share with you guys. This development came in yesterday before I was leaving the courthouse. And everyone will have an opportunity to replay this. And this is one of the times I'm actually giving all those permission to now utilize this live. I'm not trying to monetize this live, so this live is to be shared, to be talked about, and to put things in perspective. So this live has not been done on YouTube. Again, I'm not trying to monetize this live, but as a reporter, as a journalist, as someone who's covering one of the most high stakes trials of someone of this significance, it's very important for me to share this information. That's why I didn't do the live on YouTube. I did it on Instagram. This is not monetized. But it is very important that not only you guys listen to my live, but also the attorneys that is representing Robert Sylvester Kelly. They must too look at this and understand why certain things have been done in the trial and why this jury should have been sequestered. And I will preface what I'm saying with the fact I've covered a lot of trials. I've covered civil trials. I've covered Supreme Court, Superior Court trials. I've covered murder trials. I've covered the whole gamut of trials. And I've had the opportunity to sit in not just pre-trial motions, but also voir dire questioning of jurors. And other lawyers who will watch this live, and I'm doing a live with an attorney tomorrow, but other lawyers who have practiced criminal law and understand constitutional law will understand what I'm about to share. And someone took a risk yesterday, and I can't say their name because I don't reveal my sources. I would just say someone in the media shared something with me yesterday, and my instinct told me to investigate it. They were in the media room, and I would just say that they were significant in what I'm sharing with you today, and I had to do my own investigation. These are things that are not privy to the public. These are the things that are not privy to the lawyers, or maybe not one side of the team. And you guys will understand it. And I want you to put your thinking caps on. And I want you to understand that everything I tell you now can be investigated. And it may likely be investigated. It may likely lead, in the event R. Kelly is convicted of these charges, it may also lead to a possible appeal or a proper redress of these things at a later time. So I also consulted with my attorney. We spoke about it in detail, and I shared it with them. I shared it with her, and she too thought it's a problem. She's not on the case, but as journalists, we also have to have people who are able to potentially litigate an issue as it relates to the First Amendment, as it relates to covering trials, as it relates to filing motions for certain evidence that is presented in an open court. So let's get into it. A couple of weeks ago, pretty much almost at the start of the trial, I made the decision to cover this particular trial. I've covered various hearings in different jurisdictions involving R. Kelly, and I've traveled to different, different jurisdictions, and actually appeared at his bond hearing when he was released from detention in Chicago, as well as interviewed a numerous amount of people that are connected to this case. I also interviewed some off the record. I spoke to some directly on the record that could have provided testimony that would have perhaps changed the direction of this case. But that's secondary to what I'm about to share. Yesterday, one of the reporters, and I commend her for sharing this. She didn't have to do it, because I think that, she's a young reporter, and I believe she sincerely believed that this case may have gotten fair and equitable coverage by all the media that was credentialed by the government to cover this. And now, let me explain why I say credentialed. Here, this is a media pass. This is a press credential with a seal, the government seal on it, that you have to apply for to get access into the court. One of the questions that was asked in the application process is, have you covered other high-profile cases, or have you been credentialed by a government agency before? So I had a White House credential. So I didn't see why that was so significant. If you cover court cases at the state level, criminal cases, you should be able to have access to any courtroom based on your constitutional right of freedom of press. But I filled the application out anyway. Presented my ID, provided links to other articles I've reported on, and it was approved. So I thought it stopped there, but I also had to get access to other team members so they can also be there when I'm not able to be there. I did that. First of all, I want to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, please give me a 1, because I'm saying things. I want to make sure it's not missed by anyone on this live. So please hit the 1 and let me know you can hear me. I'll wait. Situation. Okay, so here we go. I don't know, after I tell you guys this, will I be able to continue reporting on this case from at least inside. The case is to the jury right now. But when the verdict comes back, we are going back into the courtroom to wait for, or if there are questions being read by the jury, questions or notes being sent to the judge from the jury, they're going to be read in open court. So I don't know how the court is going to feel after this, but guess what? I'm a journalist, not just for the court. I'm not a journalist for the court. I'm a journalist for the people. So I really don't give a damn. I still have people inside. So if you decide not to allow me back in that courthouse, there are other people in there that will make sure I get the, whatever I need to get. I'm still here in New York. So here's what's happening. The prosecution, and you must remember this, the prosecution gave a very lengthy closing argument, almost 6.5 hours. Then they gave a rebuttal that was almost 3 hours. Well, they stopped part of the rebuttal. Like, if you'll recall, it was probably about maybe an hour. I'll get the exact time. But there was a lot that happened on Thursday. And most of the reporters, they filed their story, they wrote their articles based on what they heard from the overflow room by taking notes. At least that's what I thought they were doing, by taking copious notes from listening to what was happening on the monitor. This is what I thought. I thought that everyone had to, it was a level playing field. Everyone had the same access to the same information being in that courtroom, overflow room. And I thought everything was above board. So as I was ear hustling in the media room, I heard a reporter say something to the effect, you guys got the transfer last night, right? They worked for the same team. And I said, transcript? Who sent the transcript out? Because I do recall that there was a lockdown on transcripts coming out from the courthouse. So I said, oh, wow. They sending transcripts out now? Because I have access to Pacer. And those who don't know what Pacer is, a government a portal where you can file documents, you can pull information. So I searched, and I didn't see any order that said that they were redisseminating the transcripts. So now my spider senses are tingling. So then I asked the reporter, I said, oh, maybe it got stuck in my spam. Can you resend it to this email address? She forwarded it, which was a good thing, because then I could see there's a digital fingerprint on who sent those transcripts out. And I'm sorry for the person I'm about to put on blast. And I had a conversation with this person. And I looked at the subject, who sent it, what time it was sent. So I'm looking through my emails, the same email that I put on the application for communication to our company. What I didn't see was the emails that were sent out to other reporters, certain reporters that have been reporting on this case about R. Kelly and how the prosecution and how the defense has presented their case. So then I'm wondering, the person that had to apply for the credential had to approve my credential. They also had to review the application in its detail, and I had to also submit a letter as the editor-in-chief for the brand. So when I realized that I was not on the distribution list of the dissemination of crucial details of this case that's been disseminated to a select people of the media pool that's covering this case, that really agitated me. That agitated me for a number of reasons. R. Kelly is on trial for a case that can potentially put him away for the rest of his life. And I'm going to preface by saying I wasn't never there as a supporter of R. Kelly or a detractor of R. Kelly. I was there covering the story, trying to get all the information from inside. And this is why I was critical of some of the black media outlets that didn't come inside and report this. Because what they were doing essentially is regurgitating information that they got secondhand. So let me explain the dynamics of the way the media has to report this case. We have to take hand notes on everything that's said between all the parties in the courtroom. The court has a court reporter there who has they have tools in place to take down notes, information of all the parties and anything is said. Unless you are a walking computer, you're not going to be able to get every single detail. So then when I started looking at other stories that were being reported, I was seeing verbatim account of what was said by the parties. And I'm wondering, something's odd here. As a member of the press, I knew that unless you were a trained dictation expert, you're not going to be able to take that down verbatim. So what was happening? The government was disseminating the transcripts of only the prosecution to certain members of the media. Now tell me why that's a problem. You don't have to tell me. I'm going to tell you why it's a problem. So that means that the narrative coming out of the courthouse that's being shared with millions of people around the world is being, in my opinion, controlled by the same people that have applied for the credentials to cover this case. And the members of the media, certain media outlets, are being able to have access to transcripts that other members of the media have not been having access to. That's a problem. That's a problem. The judge had made a ruling that certain things wasn't going to be released until at the end of October. So tell me why those transcripts were sent out to certain members of the media. Y'all know why? Because they're trying to control the narrative. I called this individual, and if I don't get the emails from everything that was submitted to all the media outlets before Monday, I'm putting your name out there. You work for the government. You work for us. You have until Sunday night to put it out. It's going to be a problem. A major problem. So I have the transcripts. Thank you. Shout out to that reporter that have shared the communication. You will do well in media because you are an honest reporter. So the defense has to now wonder if this jury that's sequestered is watching the media today. The jury is not sequestered. We have to now wonder what the jury is reading right now. Irregardless of the fact that the judge said, no, you can't watch the media, you can't talk about the case, you can't do a number of other things. So you tell me, Your Honor, why is the government only sending the transcripts out to certain members of the media? And why is the jury not sequestered? So this is why, in my opinion, R. Kelly is not going to get a fair trial. And why is this significant? Because I'm not accusing any outlets of slanting the story, but I'm accusing outlets of slanting the story. If you guys are only getting the transcript, some of you guys, and you know what? We need to investigate, and this is for the lawyers. We need to see how much of those emails have went out to certain media outlets. Because I want all the communication that was disseminated to all the other media outlets from the day I was approved for coverage. And I'm going to tell you what he said to me. I called him on the phone. Oh, you don't get off with just sending an email or saying, well, no, I'm sorry. No, I called you on the phone and I asked you, Mr. And those can probably figure out who it is if they applied. I understand that other members of the press have received communications and transcripts, but I have yet to receive a transcript. No, he says to me, I didn't think that you wanted to be on the distribution list. What the are you talking about? I applied for credentials to cover this trial. I also spent thousands of dollars to cover this trial. And you don't think I want to be on a you really don't think I want to be on a distribution list? I'm on multiple distribution lists from different government agencies around the country. So you have a job to do, and you don't think all the people that you approved for credentials don't want to be on a distribution list on a trial of the century? You need to lose your job. You need to lose your job. And if you're making over these type of mistakes, there's a problem. And there's a problem because I don't know how long you had your position, but by the end of today, I'm going to figure out how long you had your position. Your job is to, if you're not supposed to send any transcripts out, then nobody should have it. But if you send them out to one member of the press and not another, you don't need your job. You do not need your job. And the attorneys that represent R. Kelly should be concerned about this. I should have the transcripts of the prosecution and the defense. Not cherry pick what you want to send out to the media. And to what media outlet? I'm not going to accept the fact that you didn't think I wanted to be on a distribution list when you never asked me, did I want to be on a distribution list? But I filled the application where my email address is on to be distributed and receive communication one way or the other. So for you to say that, I do not buy it. From your mouth to my ears, you said the most asinine thing to a reporter covering a world-renowned celebrity in an international story. So you're not getting off the hook. The Eastern District of New York, the judge should really be concerned with this defendant having a fair trial. And how many people up the food chain knew that certain people was getting the email and others wasn't? It's a simple check and balance. Application, information against your distribution. Whenever you have an application, you add the members of the media to your list. I'm not buying that you forgot to share this information. No way. I don't buy it. So, yes, we have a problem. We have a problem here. So, share the information. Share the video. Share the video. That's all. I see some people texting me. I can't respond to you right now. I cannot respond to you right now. But this is a problem. Big problem. A very big problem.